Hey guys, this is Eliza and welcome back to a new video. So we're in a little bit of a different setup here because I didn't think it was necessary to set up my entire normal setup when I'm only doing an intro and an outro. So we're here in my office. My desk is right here, which is where I'm about to film my new video. So you're about to see me do my 2020 setup, which I'm really excited about because I've never really done before, because I always ended up starting bullet journals like midway through the year or like towards the end of the year, and I didn't really need most of the things that you would put in your beginning of the year area, I guess you could call it. So I will be doing that today with my new Archer and Olive bullet journal. Let's jump into it and see what I'm gonna do with my 2020 bullet journal. Please bear with me. I've literally just got yesterday the Tombow brush pens in the mail, so I am in no way capable of using them yet, but I gave it a go a couple times in my journal. I've only really had I sat down for maybe half an hour and did some practicing with my pen work, but I'm in no way a calligraphy expert or a brush pen expert, so please bear with that. Hopefully if I continue these videos throughout the year and do monthly plan with me's, you'll be able to see my techniques blossom. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, let's just jump straight into my 2020 bullet journal setup. So welcome to my 2020 bullet journal. So I'm using the Archer and Olive bullet journal. This one is one of the dot grid notebooks, and it has gold sprayed edges, and it's got this gorgeous gold moon and stars on it. You'll see the gold edges in a minute, but I really like this one, except for I don't love the cover, because the cover is actually fabric, which makes it look very dirty, which you can already see in the little video. I've obviously had this out a couple times before filming this video, and it already looks like dirty as hell. So I don't love the cover, but anyways. So starting with the key, I'm doing this one on the inside cover of the book, so that way it's easy to find. I haven't really used a key before because I didn't really do weekly spreads up until now, so I'm trying to get into those a little bit more. So I have made myself a key. I basically just copied this off someone else's. But I've just got some tasks and a symbol for completed, and for migrating a task to a different day, and cancelled, and birthdays and bills and that type of thing. So pretty simple, standard key. And I did outline most of these spreads in a pencil before going into this, because I have not done most of these before, because I haven't actually gone into a bullet journal starting it from the very start of the year before. So I wanted to map them out and see what they looked like before I really went into it. Then I wrote my name on the front of it, and now I'm moving into just a little bit of a title page. I decided to do a title page because if you can see, this page kind of sits funny. You can see it doesn't quite line up with the other pages when it's sitting flat, so I didn't want it to be one of my main spreads because I think that would have been annoying. So I just made a little bit of a title page, and I went with a couple different fonts, which I see a lot of other bullet journalers do, so I decided to give that a go throughout this spread. And I've also chosen this blue Tombow dual brush pen as my main color. Most people go with black and white for their starts, but I wanted to just choose one color and do that as a focus, and then just black and white as well. I will leave the number code on the screen for this pen. I don't know which one it is at the present time, but it is the darker blue out of the Brights set. Then I just went in with a fine tip pen to do the welcome, and then I also went back over it a little bit on the downstrokes to make them a bit thicker, so it kind of looked a little bit more like calligraphy style, and I think it looks a lot better on camera than it does on person. In the video it actually looks really cool, and I'm really happy with how it looks, but in person it doesn't quite look as neat, but at least on video it looks good. And this pen is actually from a set from the Reject Shop. If you saw my Reject Shop haul, this is the black pen out of the scented Fineliners set. So I will try and leave everything linked down below, but some of them, like those ones from the Reject Shop, you can't exactly buy online. So I will name them, but I may not have links to them. Now we're doing my grid spacing page. This is another one that I've never actually done before, but like everyone uses it in the bullet journaling, and it's like something I could actually get some use out of. So I decided to give it a go. So I just did a full line for the halfway points, and then I wrote down all the numbers for each of the grid spaces. And then I went in and did half, quarter, and thirds in different colors. So that way that's easy to see. And I just filled in those lines so that way when I need to create a spread, I can just flip back and I can see that if I want to split my page in two, I need them to be like 12 grid spaces or whatever it happens to be. So I thought it was useful, and I did find this quite useful when setting out my planner. I didn't specifically need to draw this out in pencil, which I did do, but I found it really helpful drawing it out in pencil for when I was setting up my planner, because I could just flip back to it when I was doing the spreads in pencil as like a starting point for this video. So that was super helpful. So I got some use out of it already. Then on, just wrote a little title there as well. I just wrote grid spacing, and I used the lighter blue Tombow gel brush pen just to like highlight the word spacing, just so it looked a little bit different. I will leave that one linked down below as well, which color one that is. And then I went on to do this quote, which is a Harry Potter quote. Of course I had to do a Harry Potter quote, and I tried to mess around with some different fonts. So I've got this really boxy font, which is actually a font that you can use on Canva, which is like the design app that I use. Not really design, but like you can make posters and images and stuff on that. That's the app I use, and it's one of the fonts that I tend to use if I want something big and blocky but not too like aggressive. So I basically just had that up on the screen with the word I wanted to write and then copied out what it looked like. So yeah, I used that font for the what is, and then also without a, but then I just did them a little bit differently. So obviously I coloured in the what is with my Tombow gel brush pen, and then the without a, I just used this fine liner. I can't remember off the top of my head what brand it is, but it is a 0.5 fine liner. It's a little bit thicker, so that's why I went with it. And it looks really cool with just the outline. I think I really like that, how it looks. And then for the other words, I went in with the normal end of the gel brush pen, so not the brush end, the bullet tip I think it's called, and just did a little bit of like some calligraphy type stuff. I am in no way an expert in calligraphy or in cursive even, really. I'm shit at cursive, so I wanted to mess around with that throughout this, and I want to try and develop my skills a little bit throughout, and that's why I've bought the brush pens, and I've also got some watercolors I want to play with and stuff later on. So I'm just trying to experiment with stuff. And then I went over and outlined the blue at the top with the fine liner, just because I thought it needed just something else to make it a little bit different from the blue cursives. And that was it. And obviously this quote is, "What is life without a bit of risk?" which is as I said, Harry Potter quote. And I just basically googled short Harry Potter quotes, and this one came up, and I actually like this quote, so I decided to use it. And of course, just rubbing out the lines and trying not to bend the pages, which I did a couple times when erasing. Now we're on to our future log. I don't know who this owl is. I'm on to my future log. I missed a bit here because the camera stopped filming and I didn't realize, but I'm basically just drawing out these squares, and I have 6 squares per page. Sorry, rectangles, not squares. I have 6 rectangles per page. I got this idea off Pinterest. I'll try and find it and link it down below, so that way you guys can have a look at the original post that I saw. Obviously, I don't know if they were the original creator of this idea, but it's the one I saw. I'll try and leave a link down below, but I basically just, 6 rectangles, and then each one corresponds with a month, and they're all different like shape. Well, they're all different. They're all the same grid spacing, but they're facing different directions and stuff. And then I went in with the bullet end of the dual brush pen and went and wrote all the months down. And I did the April at the top and May at the bottom, just so it looks a little bit different, so they're not all the same. But I did that, and then in a minute you will see that I have printed out the dates. And I printed these out with this little device. I'll put it in the outro so you guys can actually see it properly, because you don't actually see it in the thing because I've done this beforehand. But it's basically like a little printer that you can Bluetooth from your phone, and it prints in black and white. So I basically just made these little calendars on Canva, the design app that I use, put them on my phone and then printed them out from there onto the sticker paper. But I did not show all these because I didn't do them all when I was doing this video, because as I was cutting them out, it took me forever to get the little shits off the paper backing. It was so freaking difficult. So I ended up getting the shits with it and just doing those 3 and moving on. I did them later though. I have done them now. Now we're moving on to my 2020 in Pictures spread. This one has a 4-page spread. I will go over onto the next page. And I basically got this idea from Amanda Rach Lee, who does 2020 in Polaroids, or 2019 in Polaroids, whatever year. And it's basically you print out a picture, which is like your favorite memory or whatever from that month, and stick it in at the end of the month. I didn't write the months in there because I'm just going to go, you know, January, February, March, one side, you know, it doesn't really matter. But I will write in the names of the months after I've stuck the photo in. But yeah, so you basically I drew just the corners. I didn't do the full outline of the square, but then I'm just going to pop the photo in the top, write a little description underneath in the month, and I'm just going to do that every month. And then I also drew some little Polaroids hanging off a string on the right hand side there. Not 100% happy with that. I wish I would have made the little Polaroids a bit bigger, because you can barely really tell what they are, and they're so tiny and yeah, minuscule. I wish I'd made them bigger, but oh well, too late now. And then this is just the third and fourth page of the spread, and I just wrote 2020 at the top here. And I'm not super happy with how this turned out. It looks fine at the moment, but then I go in and outline it with a black pen and then fuck up one of the outlines and have to like go in with it like thicker to fix it up kind of, and then it just looks funny. And yeah, I wish I'd just left it blue. It like looks fine. My zeros are not even, because I cannot draw circles or ovals straight. I always fuck them up. So they're not even, but yeah, you can see me going in now with the black fine liner. And up there, yep, that's where I made the mistake. So I'm going in with a thicker line. So there is that, but you make mistakes, hey, not the end of the world. But yeah, wish I'd done something a little bit different with the font, or just done like an outline or something maybe. I don't know, but I just wish I'd done something different. But like I said, you make mistakes, you get over it. It's all good. But yeah, of course, I used my Tombow Dual brush pen for the blue, and then I'm just using the fine liner out of that pack from the reject shop, the Itsi Bitsi scented pack, and doing the outline, and then I just go in with the Tombow and clean up a little bit. Now this spread, I absolutely love this spread. This is my reading challenge, my like, not really 100 book reading challenge, but my goal is usually I start with 100 books, but then I move up to 150. And that's why I didn't want to write down 100 book reading challenge or anything. I've just called it the reading challenge. And this spread is actually Harry Potter themed. So what I did was I've drawn them out in pencil. You can see them right now, but I'm just going in with the fine liner over the top. And I basically just drew the vials or whatever you call them for the house points. And I'm drawing the glass part at the moment. And then I'll go in and draw the frame that holds it up. I've done 2 pages of them because I know I'm going to read more books than will fit on one page. But I basically just have one for Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, Slytherin, and each one means a different thing. So as I read one book, I'll colour in one more square up in like paperbacks or something, which corresponds with, I think I made paperbacks Gryffindor. We'll see it in a minute anyways. But yeah, I really like how this turned out, and I did end up colouring it in. I'll try and remember to put a photo in just so you guys can see what it looks like as it's coloured in, which I did afterwards because I didn't have my coloured pencils anywhere near me when I'm filming this because I forgot. But yeah, I'm just drawing the framework at the moment, and then I do go in and do the bottom frameworks and fill in the other side as well. But yes, I do colour this in later. I coloured the frame in gold, and then I coloured in a little bit at the bottom of each. So I had like a starting point for the colours for Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Slytherin, Hufflepuff. And then as I read books, I will colour them in more. And it'll be interesting to see as it like gets higher, whether I'm reading more paperbacks, more hardcovers, more ebooks, more audiobooks. I didn't include e-arcs or arcs because I read very few of them, and I didn't want to have my physical books as one category and then my e-arcs be like empty and the physical books be like really full and overflowing, and I'd have to make a whole nother spread again. So that's why I just didn't bother with the e-arcs. arcs, I just went physical, I just went paperback, hardcover, ebook or audiobook. And then I also drew some books at the top, which stopped filming and I didn't realize, so boom, there's the books. I just drew 2 open books in the top corner, and I think that pulls it all together. And yeah, I will put a photo in here of the colored version. You guys are seeing it right now. I haven't done that in editing yet, but you guys will see that. Now to the next spread. This is my like YouTube video ideas type spread. I just drew the little YouTube logo at the top, and then I just wrote YouTube ideas, and I messed around with 2 different fonts here. I did some like cursive with the bullet end of the dual brush pen, and I fucked up the A. Well, actually it's meant to be an O. It looks like an A. Obviously it's meant to be an O, it's YouTube, but it looks like an A. I screwed that up, but anyways. And then I just did some normal writing with ideas, and then I went around in this outline, which I really like the look of whenever someone else does it, and I do like the look of how it turned out as well. But yeah, I'd always seen other people do that, so I was like, I'm gonna try that. Now this next page is check out in 2020, which is just some TV shows and movies that I want to check out in 2020. So I've just got a box for TV shows and a box for movies, and it's pretty simple, just a basic empty spread, obviously, but yeah. And I went a little bit different to the other page, and I went the black writing and the blue with the outline, which you will see in a minute. At the moment I'm just counting it because I didn't actually draw out this page for some reason. I missed it, but yeah, you can see me going in with my pencil and figuring out where halfway is, because I couldn't use my grid spacing for this because obviously I've got that gap at the top, so I had to figure out where halfway is. And yes, I'm just drawing in the lines with the Tombow gel brush pen and making them the outline. I just thought it'd be a little bit of a contrast to the other side, which obviously has the black lines on the outside and the blue writing. Now moving on to my 20 books to read in 2020. This is a list of 20 books that I specifically need to read in 2020, whether they've been sitting on my shelf for ages and I really need to get to them, or I think I put 2 on the list that are anticipated releases. And for this, I'm just drawing the open book. If you've seen my previous bullet journaling videos, you may have seen this before, as I used to do it as like the monthly books I read list. However, I has changed that a little bit. I don't do this book anymore, but I really love the look of it. It looks awesome in the end, and especially this time what I did was write the names of all the books in there, and then I'm going to color them in a specific color when I read them, and the color will be whether I read them via a physical book, ebook, or an audiobook. So I just filling in this book here, and you can't see a little bit of it because I was like working with really small detailed lines, so I needed to get close and see what I was doing. But yeah, so I just basically, you draw the rectangle, you draw 2 like, I don't know, like curved lines in pencil this is, and then between those 2 curved lines you draw the up lines, and then you fill in the corners with little pages, and then the bottom with the little pages back to the middle so it looks like the book, and then you do a little bit of a border around the outside for the actual like hardcover part of the book. Hard to explain, but you can see basically what I did. But yeah, the outline, you need to try and draw that outline of the little dome across the top and the bottom, so that way you can line them up properly and the book looks like it's open and it's not just like a directly in front of you. And now I'm just colouring in the little border bit, which is basically where the hardcover of the book is. And I think this actually makes it look a lot better. Usually I don't do this, but I'm like, oh, I'll give it a go, because I think I saw that in the original inspiration I found, and I think it makes it stand out a lot more. Now I'm just going back through and adding some washi tape. I chose this black and white floral as well as a glitter, and then the really shiny silver one, which is reflecting really bad on the light, which I didn't realize. This is it's just a plain silver washi tape, the glitter washi tape, and then the floral black and white. And here is the flip through of the end of my bullet journal setup for 2020. I did end up adding another spread, which I will show you guys in my January plan with me. But for now, this was the ones I did. Still haven't added those calendars, but anyways. But yeah, this is the flip through. So jumping in here quickly just to show you guys the printer that I was talking about. So this is the Faux Memo M02 thermal portable printer. I bought this one online. I will leave it linked down below. This is the company just here, Faux Memo. This is the box for it. And basically you just connect it to your phone via Bluetooth, go onto the app, put your photo on there, and it prints it out in black and white. Obviously I can't do this right now because I'm recording off my phone, but yeah, you just turn it on there and it prints out. You can charge it on there and also change the paper. This one came with a white paper, well, white sticker paper in it. These are all stickers. It doesn't print, I don't know if it just prints normal. I don't know if you can buy paper with that, but I've got the sticker paper. But yeah, I came with white sticker paper, and I also bought a 3-pack of transparent sticker paper. So that way, is the paper that I printed my calendars on. So that way you can't see any background. But I have used, actually, I've got some samples sitting right here. I have used the white. I was just messing around with it when I first got it to see what type of quality it was like. So you can see there's a photo of my cat just here in black and white. That's on the white paper. And then I have a photo of some frangipanis on the transparent, as well as my dog on the transparent. And I was also messing around with the different settings on it. So it's, when you go to print a photo, there's an option for thick, medium, or thin. This is the thick, this is the medium, this is the thin. You can just see it just changes the darkness and the detail in it. I think I prefer the medium for photos, thick for any writing type ones. But yeah, that's the printer I got. I just thought I'd show you guys, and I will leave it linked down below. So that is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, let me know what you guys think or what you guys did in your bullet journals this year for your for next year's 2020 setup. That is it for now, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.